So this gentleman that I've been watching, and I'll show you in this next video. But let me just do what he said to go check out Miracle on 34th Street. He said listen to the General Postmaster. He said start looking into it. I'm sorry, looking into the General Postmaster. But he also said look at the scene, because they're going to teach you something on how it works, right? But they're also going. It's up to you if you can take it and learn from the scene. I don't want to take a chance of getting flagged, so here it is. This is the one I'm going to be using, but I'm going to start it and I'm going to switch over.
The office receives thousands of these letters every year.
I have further exhibits, Your Honor, but I hesitate to produce them.
Oh, I'm sure we'll be very happy to see them.
Yes. Produce them, Mr. Gailey. Put them here on my desk.
But, Your Honor...
Put them here on the desk.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, every one of these letters is addressed to Santa Claus. The post office has delivered them. Therefore, the Post Office Department, a branch of the federal government, recognizes this man, Kris Kringle, to be the one and only Santa Claus.
Since the United States government declares this man to be Santa Claus, this court will not dispute it. Case dismissed.
So did you hear that? I hope you can hear it. I know it's weird doing it this way, but I just don't have the rights to it, and I don't want to get flagged anymore. But yeah, they explain that it's the scene, the setting is that this man was picked up because he claimed to be Santa Claus. He's brought to court, so on and so forth, and he has to stand trial to prove that he's Santa Claus. Almost reminds you of like the whole Jesus and Pontius Pilate thing, but that's a different story for a different time. But so he's standing trial and he's got to prove that he's Santa Claus, and up to everybody else so far, he's been just been butchered, and he's proved to be insane by all accounts. Basically how they did the whole Jesus thing. Jesus claimed to be God, and he's insane to be claiming to be God. So that thing. But it was the federal branch of the federal government that had been delivering mail to him, recognizing that he is Santa Claus. Now, I get it. It was jokingly, but this was called upon to be what won the case, since the United States government had felt that we can identify who Santa Claus was, and they said he was. The judge did his part, played referee, and granted that this is Santa Claus, and he had every right to call himself that. Now, how does that work for us? How would that work for us, the Yasharoon, the American Aborigine? If we're delivering mail to each other, right, and it's addressed to the American Aborigine at such and such an address, right, to the American Yasharoon at 1-2 Waka Flocka Street, when you're being drugged into court and you need evidence to prove that that you're also been recognized as being this Yasharoon, this American Aborigine, would that also be evidence that the United States government says, hey, yep, we recognized you? You know what I'm saying? The federal government recognized you. No, please. I really, seriously, if you find holes in this, punch it. Let me know. Because I need to think about this, right? We all do. With all the stuff that we're doing with the paperwork and so on and so forth. This is another thing, all right? This case trial here. Now, this is Murdoch. Murdoch's one of the lawyers. Black Murdoch was where I was reading about it. But this right here was Pennsylvania said it's unconstitutional. Let me see if I can actually see it right here. You cannot take away a person's privilege and give them and say that and claim that what was it? You can't take away a right and claim that a privilege. Here it is. A state may not impose a change for the enjoyment of a right protected by the federal constitution. And this has everything to do about giving a license and taxing you versus what the Constitution says. And so I was printing this off because I think this is going to come in handy. That you cannot claim that that I need a license and force me to have a license when the Constitution already plainly states that it's covered under here. I prefer my rights, my unalienable rights versus the Constitution, versus your corporate privileges. And I know the Constitution really doesn't apply to us, but I'm just looking this over. You know what I'm saying? These are my arguments for later on. So I prefer to have, I prefer to find it in treaties because everyone knows the treaties are the supreme law of the land, period, point blank. But we'll cover that in some other ones. I'll find someone else that I feel does it better. But check this out. I'll leave it in the description box too. All right, and we're going to start to tackle that postmaster because the gentleman I'm listening to, he says that that's a good thing to tackle.